Reinecker in the big chair with you. Welcome to Resource Central. Our guest today is Luann Colyer, who is the receptionist at the office in Pittsburgh, 1403 North Broadway. Good afternoon, Luann. Welcome to Resource Central.
Hi, Joe. It's nice to be with you this afternoon. I am going to make one quick correction. I am the independent living coordinator here in the Pittsburgh office.
Well, that's good. I hadn't heard you referred to as that, so that's good for me to know. You have been working of late out on a park project. Where is the park located?
We have been working for the last 8 years in Slanger Park, which is just off of 4th Street here in Pittsburgh, on a project called Everybody Plays. It's an accessible playground for people of all disabilities and ages, and it is an inclusive playground.
Where did the genesis for this project start?
We had a college professor here at PSU, Dr. Chuck Killingsworth, and he visited with a couple of other folks here in town. He was in the recreation department at PSU and had seen some national parks like this and thought it would be a good addition to the Pittsburgh community. Dr. Chuck and Dave Sorick and Donna Bogner helped start this project.
How much has been earned for the project at this point?
Well, we have been able to install accessible swings. We did that 2 years ago. And then this just past July 3rd, we had our dedication for the large piece of play equipment. And because of the rubberized surfacing is poured in place, which is totally accessible for wheelchairs, walkers, strollers, canes. That's a big expense. But we had received a discount on the play equipment, but it was over including playgrounds, probably $180,000 worth of fundraising that we've done. This is not taxpayers' dollars. This has all been private donations or grants that we have applied for.
Which company did it?
It's out of Kansas City. Playtime, I believe.
How long do you expect to raise this money? Because I realize you've been raising money off and on for quite some time. The big push was to get the big piece of equipment in the ground, which we have done. That has been our major focus the last 8 years. But what we are doing now is we want to continue the work that we have done. And so we're doing fundraising. We're making our plans for the annual haunted house that will be held in Memorial Auditorium here in Pittsburgh. And we're working on a shade pavilion. We want to do a sensory/butterfly garden. And then we would also like to convert the wading pool into a splash zone, which will be totally accessible also. So we accomplished our big goal, but we decided not to stop. We wanted to just continue to improve the playground because it is the only inclusive, accessible playground in southeast Kansas and northeast Oklahoma. So it's a pretty big deal, and it is a destination playground. What kind of feedback have you gotten?
People have been so happy for us so that they can have some place to take their entire family to play. I ran into a family at dinner a couple of months ago, about a month ago, and they have one child in a wheelchair and then 2 other kiddos that were just running around, and they have used the swings ever since we have installed those, but they were very excited about the actual playground itself because it's going to be the first time that all 3 children have been able to play on the same equipment at the same time.
That's awesome. How long do you expect to raise money?
I think this is a long-term project. Some people didn't expect us to get where we were. They just thought that we were continuing to raise money, but we've actually done something with it. So I'm sure that once we get the shade pavilion and the garden and the splash zone done, there are other things that we could add to the big playground equipment.
Like what?
There's a music pavilion that has all types of different simulated instruments from all over the world. And when you install that, the company actually sends out music books. And so we could have kindergartners or the senior citizens from the senior citizen or nursing homes could come out and learn songs and actually play on them. So that would be a really cool addition to the playground. But this is something, water fountains, accessible picnic benches. It's basically a limit to, there's no limit to what we could continue to add to this project. There's a huge park, and the more that we're able to add to it, it's going to benefit not only our community, but the disability community as a whole, because it will be a destination playground, and it's going to be great for the city of Pittsburgh itself.
When do you expect completion in a perfect world?
I don't know that I can set a date for that, Joe. As I said, we continue to have ideas to add to it. We hadn't even thought about the splash zone a year ago. And then when we got the funding and got the playground, it's like, yes, we've got this portion done. It's like, okay, what can we do? But when you go online and Google accessible playgrounds across the country, what some of them have done are just incredible. And so we want to continue to grow on this. So I just can't see at this time putting a completion date on it. We will continue to raise funds and write grants for, I think, a number of years to come to continue to improve this area.
When is the next fundraising project? Around Halloween? Around
Halloween. This will be our third annual haunted house. We take over a large portion of Memorial Auditorium, and we have volunteers from the community, PSU students, high school theater students. We've even had a city commissioner come out and volunteer with us, and we choose a theme. I'm not quite ready to release that. That's still under wraps, but we've had different themes each year, and so that will be our next fundraiser. Kim Vogel, who's the director of Pittsburgh Parks and Rec, and I have been writing grants, and so we have a couple of those out and hope to continue work on that. But Sarah Vaca, who is also with Pittsburgh Parks and Rec, and then Barbara Herbert, who is a grandmother of the young lady that we dedicated the playground to. Her name is Catherine Dean Holland, and so the playground equipment that we have in the ground, we have designated as Catherine's Playground.
Tell me something special about Catherine Dean Holland.
She is disabled herself. She was born 16 weeks premature in October of 2000, and just an incredible young lady. And she loves to be outside, and she was kind of the inspiration for her grandparents to get involved. Her granddad, Dr. Harvey Dean, and his wife, Sharon, and then Barbara is the grandmother on the other side, have contributed both money and time to help us make this project come to fruition. And but a very special young lady. I met her July 3rd when she was here for the dedication, and was very impressed. She always thought it was Grandma's playground. She didn't realize that it was going to be her playground.
I bet that made her smile.
She had a big smile. She lives in Nashville with her family, and so she doesn't get to play on it all the time, but when she's here visiting the grandparents, that's definitely going to be a highlight of the weekend.
If anybody wants to donate, how do they get in touch with you?
Okay. They can contact Luann Colyer at Skill here at the Pittsburgh office, We receive donations through the Community Foundation of Southeast Kansas, or you can also designate or donate to the city of Pittsburgh, but clearly mark that it's where everybody plays, and they will make sure that that gets into their proper fund.
Thank you, Luann. This is Joe Reinecker, and this has been Resource Central. Have a good day.
Thank you.